all the various facts that come out blew my mind. Obviously, again, we think of the blue boxes, the expensive jewelry, but the history was mind blowing. When you start digging into it, what were some of the things that blew your mind?
So Charles Tiffany is the founder. I mean, this guy lived back, he was born in the early 1800s, and he is incorporating marketing principles that people use today that you wouldn't think someone would have the forethought to do. Owning
He's
a
the
color.
Donald Trump of jewelry.
Well, he's the Steve Jobs of jewelry. I mean, we mentioned Steve Jobs because he borrowed things from Tiffany, and he owned a color and trademarked it long ago. He created the engagement ring as we know today. He bought a Tiffany diamond that he knew would make him the king of diamonds in New York. So these things have maintained and continue to be celebrated at the brand now, but people are learning about this guy, I think through Steve Jobs a little bit, but it's not common knowledge that, the iPhone is a simple, elegant piece of technology, but he borrowed things from Louis Comfort Tiffany, the son, and Charles as far as their mass production of these beautiful objects.
One of the things you really explore is the building of the brand. And it's fascinating because obviously, again, we see the end product of how Tiffany has become this mega brand. But the building and the marketing of it was really fascinating. When you see the history of the building of the brand, what were some of the lessons? You'd mentioned, obviously, now people like Steve Jobs have used those lessons, but what were some of the lessons in terms of making it successful?
I think more than anything, they took advantage of moments that they thought could resonate in pop culture. So, Breakfast at Tiffany's, for instance, Walter Hoving, who was the chairman at the time, he embraced that novel or a novella that Truman had written, and he knew that Audrey Hepburn was playing a prostitute in the film. But in cahoots with Paramount, they created this softer side of it all. They created this whole confection of, she comes to New York, she's this socialite or quote unquote kook who is a little odd and rough around the edges, but she has the elegant gown and she's having breakfast at Tiffany's. But when you read between the lines, she's a prostitute. She was up all night. She goes to Tiffany probably because she wants her life to be somewhat orderly and she feels safe there compared to what she's experiencing in life. So, you learn that Tiffany bought into the myth, made it their own. And I'm trying to pull it back a little and say, well, they took a risk because, this was meant this way, yet they created it this way. So society knows it in one instance, but to me, it should be kind of exposed for what it is.